Sorry again, this is part 3 for Wednesday. Somebody called in and that interrupted the recording. So I'm just going to finish off the English on the Gemara and go on to Haggadah Shel Pesach for another 15 minutes. We were close to the end of the Amud. Rav Huna bar Manoach said in the name of Rav Acha Brei Ravika that a Jew is allowed to tell a Gentile to take the Avodah Zarah and to put it in his back, because I guess the Gentile was harassing him to worship Avodah Zarah, and the Jew was not interested, so finally to get rid of him he used a coarse expression. And finally, Haiman Amr Rav Ashi says, Haiman, somebody that has a bad reputation, but it's not merely Lashon Hara, it's somebody that you know has done terrible things, except we just never caught him in the act. Shori le levazuya, you're allowed to shame him. The gimel v'shin. The gimel stands for a zona, and the shin stands for a rotten personality. So you're allowed to use the letters gimel shin on him. And the perik ends off on a good note. Haiman de shapir sham ane. Somebody we've heard good things about him. You're shori. You're allowed to l'shavuche praise him, and whoever praises him should have a blessing on his head. Now, I'm going to go through some halachot on bedika and bitul chametz. You know that the night of the 14th, that's the night after the 13th of Nisan, there's a mitzvah to be baidik chametz at night. We search for chametz throughout the house to see wherever we can find chametz, and we put it together so that we destroy it the following morning. After we finish doing the bedika, we make a declaration called bitul, stating that if there's any chametz that I have not found or have not seen or am not aware of, I want it to be hefker. I want it to be ownerless. I give up, I waive, I abdicate my authority over it. It's not mine, and therefore I won't violate the sin of having chametz on Pesach, because you only violate if it's yours. And if you have, so to speak, expunged it from your possession, then you're not violating anymore. The interesting question is, why do you need both? Once I've searched, so why do I need to be mevatel? The answer is because even though you searched, you never know what you may have missed. Sometimes there may be a case of beer in the garage that you forgot, or maybe a cake in the freezer that was in a box and you didn't realize what was in it. The reason why we don't simply do bitul, just simply say whatever it is ownerless and I don't want it, is either because people may just say the words but not mean it. And if you don't really mean it, then it's still yours. Therefore, if you search for it and actually destroy any chametz, you have really gotten rid of it. Or, even though you make bitul, but what happens if you forget? Let's say on Pesach, and like I told you once, we played baseball during Chol Pesach, and as we had a habit, after we used to finish a baseball game, we used to go to candy store and buy drinks. And it was a hot day on Chol Pesach, we played baseball, and everybody went to the store. And it was at the last minute that somebody yelled, "Hey, it's Pesach!" And nobody, I don't think anybody did anything wrong, but it's sometimes you can forget. So therefore, if you just do bitul and you say the chametz doesn't belong to me, but maybe, I don't know, you'll be going for a long walk on Chol Pesach, you'll come back hot, you see a bottle of beer in the fridge and you crack a cold one and you might come to eat it. Therefore, we do both. We search for it to make sure that whatever we find we get rid of. And we also are mevatel, whatever we haven't found we declare ownerless and not ours. There are 2 times that you do bitul. There are 2 times that you declare your chametz ownerless. The first time is at night when you finish the bedika, and the text that you say then is anything that I haven't found or haven't seen or am not aware of, I'd like to be mevatel, that I want it to be ownerless and not mine. In the morning, after you burn your chametz, an Erev Pesach morning, then you say, even if I had found it, or even if I did know about it, I still don't want it to be mine. So therefore you finally have totally created, all the chametz that you have is now ownerless. The bracha that you make before your baidik chametz is al biur chametz. Biur means on the eradication of chametz. But you're not eradicating, you're only searching for it. The eradication will come the next morning when you burn it. But since the search is the beginning of the eradication, therefore it is correct to make a bracha al bir chametz. I am now initiating the process of the eradication of chametz when I'm going to look for it. Whoever searches for chametz should not talk between the bracha until he finishes the search, unless whatever he's talking has to do with the bedika. Sometimes people will go into a room and whoever it was that cleaned the room, they'll check and make sure, say, was this area checked, was this area done, what is this? So that those questions that have to do with bedikas chametz are not considered an interruption between the bracha and finishing the mitzvah. In fact, let's say for sometimes a person may need to be bodik in a few places. Like sometimes a person is bodik at home. If he has elderly parents, he may go to their house to be bodik in their house, or maybe he's going to be bodik in his office. And so you can make one bracha and go from place to place to be bodik as long as you don't interrupt in the interim with things that have nothing to do with the bedika. The minhag is to put pieces of bread around throughout the house. The reason for it, according to the simple understanding, is that the person just shouldn't feel bad that he made a bracha and didn't find anything. The truth is that if nobody put the pieces around and you did a proper search, the bracha is not a bracha in vain, because you made a bracha to eradicate and you did what you can to eradicate. But still, our custom has been, and some say because of Kabbalistic reasons, to actually put pieces of bread around, but to be very careful when you put the pieces around. Whoever puts the pieces around should take a careful note where the pieces were put, that in case the one who's searching can't find the piece, we should know where to find it, so you don't end up having placed chametz that you have in your house over Pesach. The pieces preferably should be less than a kezayit each. Smaller pieces will do. In case you do lose a piece, you don't want to have a piece that's larger than a kezayis around for Pesach. I've read that all the pieces together should equal a kezayis, so the next day when you're burning them, you should be burning at least a shear, a volume, an amount, which is a kezayis. We also, it is customary, I think for Ashkenazim, perhaps Fardim as well, that we use a spoon and we use a feather and we use a candle. So you use the feather to sweep the place where you find the chametz and use a spoon to somehow aggregate the chametz into the spoon, although I never understood how you do that. The spoon is too flat. Take a box or bag with you to put the chametz into, and you take the candle because you're supposed to search by the light of a candle. The light of a candle is a concentrated light in a corner. I once heard an interesting Dvar Torah. In the end, on Erev Pesach morning, you burn the chametz, and you also burn the spoon, and you burn the feather, and you burn the chametz, and you also burn the candle. So I could understand that you burn the chametz because that's what you're supposed to do. Burn the spoon because the spoon held the chametz. You burn the feather because the feather swept the chametz. Why do you burn the candle? The candle didn't touch anything. But again, in a sarcastic way, it was said, you burned the candle because the candle went looking for chametz. There's some moral lesson there that even though you're supposed to look for the chametz, you're supposed to find the chametz, but someone who's always busy trying to find the chametz, it also gets burnt. You're not, like, don't try to be a fault finder. But in this case, it was a mitzvah to find the fault, but that's okay. So you did the mitzvah very good, but we burned the whole thing. If people are leaving, and commonly people do leave chametz for breakfast or Erev Pesach morning, it has to be put in a safe and secluded place so little kids don't get to it and spread the chametz throughout the house again. Biblically, it is prohibited to have any chametz in your possession after midday Erev Pesach. It means halfway between dawn and when the stars come out. But the Rabbanan were concerned that you should not leave chametz to the last minute. So they said that you should eradicate the chametz even before that. So we eat chametz. Again, we calculate time from dawn until the stars come out. We break that time up into 12 equal pieces. Each piece is called a sho'ah zmanit, like a 12th of the day. So we eat chametz only during the first 4 parts of those 12 parts. And then after that, we can benefit from chametz and burn it. But we burn it well before the end of the 6th section of the day, before midday, because after midday we would already have a biblical prohibition. But I'm sure in all your shuls or by email, if the shuls won't be open, you'll be notified exactly the time of achilas chametz and beer chametz and sreifus chametz. And in case school is not open before then, b'li neder, I too will send around an email, or if you remind me, I'll send around an email letting you know there's manim for Erev Pesach morning. Just once again, it's been very heartening to hear from a number of students that they are learning. They're learning b'chavrusa. They're making chavrusas. They're reviewing. This time is time of opportunity. This time is for you to do what you can do for yourself without anybody else making you do it. So I wish each and every one of you a lot of success this day and a lot of health to you and your families. Be well. Bye-bye.